All right, perfect. There we are. Well, good to go. Excellent. All right. So, our big topic that everybody wanted to talk about first was this idea about helping yourself sell yourself, feeling really confident as far as talking about your work, putting your work out there, going through your portfolio, whatever it might be. So, I've got a few tips here that I think will help everybody kind of along the way. The first kind of stage here is getting ready for any event that you're going to do or become in the spotlight where you're going to have to show your work off or perform well, even in the interview process. So, getting ready, basically, what does that mean? You need to make sure you're starting with a few things. And if it's the conversation or if it's the interview or if it's a possible talk with someone who is hiring, you want to make sure the right background and experience that you have is obviously in tandem with the opportunity you might be talking about with someone. So always looking at whatever the opportunity is. If it's someone you're talking to, particularly like at high res, and they come in and they tell you a little bit about their company, find those things that show and prove that you are the right background or the right experience to what they're talking about. This means being a little bit flexible and a little bit like, you know, understanding of how to approach these things and how to talk to somebody about what you do. Being a good match for a role. So if they're talking about a particular role in mind too, how are you a good match for that role? Finding things to kind of say, have those maybe ready to go so you've got a few things kind of in your back pocket. And then being a good match for the company and the culture. Listen to people when they tell you about an opportunity or the company itself, and there might be something really cool that's in line with something that you're really passionate about as well. So if they have a culture, not just the job and not just what you're being doing in the role, but what's that company like, you know? And I think a lot of times this is what I tell a lot of students to look for as they are looking for a job, is to kind of look at the culture of the company, especially if you get to go there and experience the interview live at their place. Knowing their culture is really, really important. And is that something you want to, you know, kind of like be a part of? Next up is really this confidence thing. And I want you guys to think of these things because I think you're all in a great spot to be great presenters, showing off your work, doing those things. But obviously, little nervousness, anxieties can obviously pop in anytime. So to give you guys a little bit more on the confidence side, some stuff you can do to really put out a great confidence to the person that you might be talking with. It's this idea of like, it's simple stuff, but it's just maintaining the good posture. Are you looking at them with eye contact, right? Are you shaking hand? You sitting in a position that radiates engagement with conversation? You know, body language is the most like under talked about thing when it comes to this stuff. If you're just in there and you're kind of like this and you're holding back and you're not putting together or putting forward a really great enthusiastic kind of, you know, body language, put it in that kind of, you know, kind of sum it up in that thing. It's something interesting. Like you guys have probably seen it when you're talking to somebody and they don't seem connected. They don't seem interested in being there. So giving that right from the very beginning sets a good foundation. The reaction you get from them is great. And now hopefully some of that confidence is a little bit less. I'm sorry, the nervousness is less and the confidence is a little bit better. The other thing to do, and we've done this a few times in my class, but anytime you're practicing going over your work, case study, your portfolio, whatever it is, record yourself. Try doing that just on your own. It only has to be the audio. That's the best way to do it. What you want to do that for is it will help you kind of understand where you might have a few things like and like, or basically. We all have these things that we drop into there. So recording yourself and practicing it with yourself, others, family members, and all that is such a great thing to hear. I know when I've heard myself many times in the past, it made me just cringe. And you're like, what? I can't hear that again. And just for that matter alone, I improved myself on it because I didn't want that to be the perception when I was out there trying to sell myself. This is another great, important little tip as well. Because they're looking at so many people, and if you've made it to the point of having an interview or getting to meet someone one-on-one, particularly at like high res or somewhere else, aiming to be memorable. Like, think about how you would actually do that. If it doesn't come naturally, one of the things we all have to do is kind of think of things that could be very specific. So a day or two later, they're still thinking about you and that exchange that you had, right? So being specific about any example you talk about. If you told them I did this great project for a book cover and it was one of my favorites, like great. But if you said it in a different way by saying there's this one project that really sparked my curiosity and my creativity, and that was a book cover. And I felt so confident in what I did that I entered it in a contest, and I didn't place or I didn't win anything, but it was something I never thought I would do and really enjoy. So that little extra story applied to your example makes it much more relevant. So you're telling the story and you're relating to someone that you've experienced something through what you have done. Okay. And then paying attention to the cues of the person you might be talking about. Are you going too far into one thing and it's not showing some interest? Change the course, bring it to something more memorable. But you've all been there too, because you've all seen and probably talked to someone where what something they said stuck with you for a long time. So try to think of those things up front. And if it means just having a few things at your disposal that you can bring up really quickly, something that happened in school, something that happened in one of your classes, maybe at your work or your job, these little things really, really help out. Okay. So next one, always think about this. What are you doing for the company? What are you doing? And I picked this picture because unfortunately, like 90% of what a person's thinking about, if you are like being talked to as far as to join a company or even the opportunity to interview, they're only thinking of the bottom line. They are thinking about, if I hire you, will you help me in these situations? So what you can do is, as you're talking to them and telling them about your work and your stuff, how have you helped a company or a job you've been at right now either make more money, streamline the process, all of those things? Did you pay attention to things in your job and that you took the extra initiative to make something better or make something more profitable or make something better for the culture? So when you can figure this out, and if you've got those things, I always say these are the things that should be on your resume anyway for whatever you write in your work experience. So if you've already got those written down somewhere, let those be those things that you can bring up in a conversation and basically really win them over with. Because again, they've already met you. You're a great person. They've seen your work, great work. But if you can turn that into benefits and things you've done for other companies and other places you've worked, then you've just slam dunked it. So again, this will help you feel more confident in selling yourself because it's actual stuff that you might have done. If you're struggling to find stuff like this, ask people that you've worked with, ask bosses that you've worked with, even if it was a non-design job and it's still on your resume. Find these things that are really going to work. Okay. So we're going to try a little experiment, and I want you guys to kind of either, if you want to open up like a Word doc or just your notebook, we're just going to write. Okay. So it's all about that. We're going to build the elevator pitch. And what this is an elevator pitch is just that surefire way that, again, having another thing in your tool belt that you can use at any time and making a great impression with someone. Now, you might be at an event or something where someone introduces you to someone and you want to make that lasting impression. So here's what an elevator pitch is. It's that opportunity to share that quick summary of you and who you are and what you can offer. But this is something that doesn't happen. Like, don't expect that opportunity to turn into something like solid tomorrow. What it is it's a long-term thing. It's for things later down the road. So this is those things that aren't interviews. They are just opportunities of meeting someone that you want to impress, right? So make sure you've got this down. We're going to go through the process of making it, but I just want to make sure that you're understanding that what this does is it's an immediate benefit because you've got a solid story. You're confident in what it is, and you're prepared for any scenario that comes your way when it comes to that opportunity of where you can meet. So you could break it down as simple as this. You want to keep it very brief. The whole idea of why they call it an elevator pitch is if it's that sudden opportunity that you met someone in an elevator and you've got 30 seconds before those doors open, this is how you would kind of share anything you want to say. So you want to keep it brief, but what you want to do is you want to share your skills mention your goals, and then have something to put a bookmark in the conversation, because let's say you only get 20 seconds and that door opens and the person's got to go. What are you leaving with them to be that connection that they can have and remember you and contact you later down the road? Because remember, it's not meant to be something that you're going to get a job tomorrow. So where could this elevator pitch happen? It could be like a job fair. A lot of students go to those after graduation. There's tons of them all over LA. Could be something as simple as high res portfolio review or anything like that. You can use this elevator pitch all over LinkedIn. You can use it as your Twitter bio. You can do it at any event that's not even a design one. It's just someone you meet or a job interview. So the cool thing about this is it's very flexible on where you can use it. And it's just great to have in a way, because it's like, you've got to write this anyways, but wouldn't it be neat to have this kind of, ready to go at any time? So the first question, I want you to answer this question in some written form. Who are you and what qualifications and skills do you have? And a great simple example here is, hi, my name is Amy and I create designs for websites and brands. So notice how simple it is, but it's got a little bit of specifics in there, right? And it mentions a skill or two. All right. So it's the intro, qualifications, and skills. How do you guys write this up in one sentence? So I'm going to give you guys a few seconds, a few minutes, and write this down. Okay. What's your solution? And then I'd love to go over a few and see how everybody did on this. Okay. So take a minute or two, and it doesn't have to be a lot. But one thing I would say is, instead of saying creating designs for websites and brands, how would you say that? What is it? Do you have a combination of illustration and design? Is it I'm heavily into design and photography? Is it I'm studying brand and UI UX? What is your combo? What is your thing? Okay. So give that a shot.
I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
For this, the situation, the sentence that we're making is something that we're currently doing or something that we want to do.
Right now, it's kind of a combination of both. You can predict a little bit here. So if you have a very set way of what you want to be looking at in the next few years, it'd be a great spot to put it in as well. If you don't, just make it as simple and kind of like open-minded as it can be for today.
Okay.
Okay. Did anybody get a chance to write one? What do you guys got? Matt, you want to try it?
Sure.
What do you got?
Hi, I'm Matthew Bibikoff, and I research and design website and apps.
Website and maps?
And apps.
Apps, perfect. Okay, cool. Mario, what do you got?
My name is Mario, and I create apps that are very well designed and easy to use.
There you go. Good. You threw in a little like benefit on there with the easy to use. That's great. Anybody else got one? What do you guys got? Go ahead, Corinne.
Okay. Hi, my name is Corinne and I create illustrations for packaging and branding.
Okay, perfect. Or you could say, I love doing packaging and branding with an emphasis in illustration.
Ooh, okay, I'll do that.
See? Okay. Sometimes it's the order. Like if it's, if I heard you say that, I would think, oh, she only does illustrations, but it's for packaging, but does she do packaging? You see what I mean? So by starting with that one first, I think it's kind of unique to kind of capture it all in the essence of design and creativity and packaging or whatever it might be. But the emphasis is like, oh, but wow, I get a 2-for-1 because she's got illustration skills as well, right? Cool. Anybody else got one they want to share?
I somewhat have a draft.
Okay, go for it.
My name is Samuel Melly, and I am a visual designer that uses conceptual and critical thinking with a strong design sensibility to build brand identities.
Great. Okay, cool.
Is that too long?
It's not too long. I think what it is I'd love to ask other folks, what do you think of what Sam just said? Was it, I want to get your opinion on on its feel? How would you rate it?
I feel like this description might be better suited for like a website, I guess you would say, like when you put in your bio,
Mhm.
sometimes you put in like your about me, I guess,
Yeah.
instead of like something that you have in a casual conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like it was missing a little of the personal. Remember, you're saying this like, and I think when it comes off and it's too many of those like perfect keywords, it could be a little bit like you're saying like describing yourself on the website where you can write it. But how say it again in a way that you feel might sum it up a little simpler,
Okay.
but throws in more the passion of what you love to do. Like, give me passion and love in there rather than boom, 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 analytic. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds corporate. Okay. There we
And you're
go.
not corporate. Anybody else want to try it? Did somebody else raise their hand earlier? Who wants? Anybody else want to try it? What they got?
I can try, but it's kind of fictitious, something that I would like to do. I don't
Go
know if
for
that's
it.
okay. Hi, my name is Selena, and I help startup companies with brand identities or rebranding for existing companies.
Great. There you go. Very nice. So it tells me a lot in a very little, but it wasn't too wordy. You know what I mean? It's just keywords and good kind of bridges in between, right? That I liked. Any luck yet, Sam? Do you got to rewrite?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if like I have enough, but I have my name is Sam Lamelli and I'm a visual designer with a passion for branding and conceptual design.
Perfect. 10 times better.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the goal, is to try to make this you. It should be your language, right? It shouldn't be a lot of times too. I'll be the first one to admit I'll cut and copy something I find and try to drop it into my language, and it doesn't work. It's an imposter. Like, be yourself with this stuff, right? So okay, so hopefully you've got this. You've got your name, it's the introduction. It's someone's going, "Oh, hey, Sam, come over here. I want you to meet blah 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 from blah blah blah." And that's where you can just drop it, right? "Hi, my name is Sam. I do that, boom boom boom." Okay? So, we've got this part here, highlighting skills a little bit, okay? The next idea. Is there something more specific about it? I think some of you might have already put that in there, but what skills specifically? So now, like, the next thing Amy can say is, "I worked in the college design department as a designer." So like, this could be the next sentence. Okay, it doesn't have to continue from what we just said, but is there something that you can almost show proof of concept, right? So like, I just told you who I am, but is there a bit of your experience that you can say in one line that can come right after that? Like, "I've blank," right? "I've been a part of 2 on-campus creative clubs, aimed at getting better at my career." You see what I mean? Like, what is there something more specific that you guys can say that you can add that could be the next sentence to there? So it goes from here. "Hi, my name is Amy. I create designs for websites and brands. I worked in the college design department as a designer as well." Okay, so something like that. So is there one little supporting little sentence you can say that's the proof of what you just said? So give that a shot. See what you guys got. What's up, Joe?
Hey, I was just hanging out.
Yeah, man. We're writing elevator pitches.
Yeah, this is fun.
How's that? Anybody got something here? Are you not coming up with anything, or is it just kind of like wordsmith? What do you guys got? Matt, what do you got?
I changed up my first sentence to add a little bit of uniqueness to it. So let me know what you
Great.
think about this. But hi, I'm Matthew Bibikoff, and I research and design experiences that are functional yet beautiful. I worked at Season's design agency, Intersect LA, as a designer.
Perfect. There you go. I love how you turned it into, what were the 2 words you said in your first sentence about
Functional yet beautiful.
perfect. There you go. Like, those are like opposite things, but to me, it's like those things go so good together, and it's such unique kind of like perspectives that are different. That would make me remember it, right? That's what I love
Yeah.
about that. So sounds great, really good.
Thank you.
Anybody else got one for the kind of more specific skill that they want to share? Everybody's still writing. Sam, do you got anything?
Yeah, but it's not that interesting. I have
Go for it.
I worked at this Institute for Community Health and Wellbeing at CSUN as a digital media designer and at Intersect LA as a visual designer.
Perfect. There you go. So it's proving what you just said with the first sentence, right? Where did this happen? How did this happen? And I think all it's doing is it's kind of just giving a bit of like proof to what you just said, and it's providing a little bit more context to what it is. But now, this third part, that's going to be like the ending of your elevator pitch, is really, really kind of cool. Now it's telling you, what the person you're talking to, what are your goals? What do you want to do with this? So to your question earlier, that like, is this stuff past, present, or future? It's kind of interesting. You're talking about who you are. You're talking about the present world. Now it's kind of like, what are the goals? So what's Amy going to say is, my passion is coming up with creative ways to express a concept. I'm looking for a job that will put my skills as a designer to work. So it's kind of continued on with what the passion is. Where do you want to take this? And then what's the benefit to the person you're talking to? So if this was a potential person that could have a job opening for you down the road, you're summing it up by saying, and imagine if I came and worked for you, this is what I would do. Okay. So it's kind of the solution, it's kind of the result, and it is the goal of what you want. So take a minute to kind of finish off the elevator pitch, and you've got this really great ending to what you guys want to say. So if you read it all together, my name is Amy. I create designs for websites and brands. I've worked in the college design department as a designer, and my passion is coming up with creative ways to express a concept. And I'm looking for a job that will put my skills as a designer to work. So you see that arc, right? It's really, really great. Just like what we saw with this graph here. Keeping it brief, sharing the skills, mention your goals, and we're going to talk a little bit about what to do next. What's that call to action? What's that bookmark that they won't forget you at? Okay. Anybody got something yet? I know this one's a little bit more lengthy, but keep trying. And if you got something, drop it in chat as well, so we can see the, more than happy to see how it looks there. Just drop it in there if you guys have something. Anybody want to give it a try? You didn't think you'd be writing today, huh? Give it time. It's the cool thing too is this is something you can always go back to as well. Write something now, get a few ideas out, you can always go back and really kind of polish this up. And again, too, there's no one person has just one elevator pitch. The idea here is you can make this change and flexible to other opportunities or other things that you might be interested in, because not every person you meet is going to be the same exact opportunity that you're going to give some kind of a pitch to. It could just be a networking situation. It could just mean that this is someone you can call on as a mentor down the road sometime, right? It doesn't always have to be just job opportunity, but this is just something to have keywords, have great things behind you, and be ready at any chance. Okay. So when we read it all together again, if we look at it here, I kind of showed you the different colors. So you can see my name is Amy and I create designs for websites and brands. We've established what she does and where do they live. She expands on it a little bit more by saying I worked in the college design department as a designer, proof that she's done something, and my passion is coming up with creative ways to express a concept. And I'm also looking for a job that would put my skills as a designer to work. So you've summed it all up. Incredible like spot here. And maybe it's just a matter of having little things here and there to have for those particular things. And you can make this very adaptable. Matt, what do you got?
All right. I got, hi, I'm Matthew Bibikoff, and I research and design experiences that are functional yet beautiful. I work at CSUN's design agency, Intersect LA, as a communication designer. My passion lies in solving pain points and coming up with solutions for all users. And I'm looking for a job that'll put my skills and experience in UX UI design to work.
Perfect. There you go. That sums it all up, man. And again, you can even probably make a much briefer version of that you can do in 5 seconds. And you could probably even make a much more broader expanded version of that too, by adding a little bit more texture to it as well. So perfect. So you got, hi, my name is Sam and I'm a graphic designer with a passion for branding and entertainment design. I worked at CSUN's consulting agency, Intersect LA, as a designer and project manager, and at CSUN's Institute for Community Health and Wellbeing as a digital designer. My future hope is to work at an advertising agency doing conceptual design. There you go. Perfect. I would probably even find a way to say, you know, conceptual design in maybe you can circle back to entertainment or branding in that last sentence, like kind of make it full circle by bringing one of those words in there. And I think you've got something really strong. That's great. Perfect. Anybody else got one they want to share before we move on? Cool. All right. Focus on branding. However, I am currently working on my skills in UI UX. Perfect. I volunteered within my college art department to help a nonprofit organization launch its websites. My goals are to strengthen my current skills while attaining new skills to make myself a versatile communication designer. Love that. You're not only have you dropped the goals that you want, but this idea to attain new ones. Like that's fantastic, right? Just by having that. So love that idea. That's really great. What's up, Adrian? How you doing, bud?
Hey, how's it going? How's everyone doing?
Did you get the job?
I did, yeah.
You
So
did-
I'm on my second week there.
Where? At G4?
No, at Protege.
Oh, look at this guy. Multiple offers.
No, but yeah, I got it.
Dude, congratulations, man. That's
thank
great.
Thank you. Sorry, I thought I was trying to go on mute.
You want to tell everybody a little bit about how you sold yourself? What you did to be confident?
It's hard. It's a hard process. Yeah, it's a hard process, to be honest. Like, I know everyone's gonna get nervous, especially just being in person. The cool thing is that some of my interviews were actually in person. I feel like those were a little bit more nerve-wracking than anything.
Okay.
Because you're doing everything via Zoom and like on a screen, so you're more comfortable. But when the in-person happened, I was like, oof, like those were a little bit tricky. But all I can say is, prepare your portfolio more than anything. And that's half of it. That's honestly half of it. Like mostly you're just selling yourself. You're just being yourself. Like I know as cliche as it sounds, you guys probably hear from professors, but you got to be yourself. You just got to go in it, do your little research of the company. That's the great thing about LinkedIn. You can find these people now. You can actually see like where they went to school, what other companies they worked at, but just have something to talk about as well. Say your insights, like what do you like doing? What don't you like doing and such. But I think just more than anything, be yourself, be prepared for also be prepared for questions and be prepared to ask questions. I feel like that's always something great to ask.
Yeah.
And I know like getting out of school, you don't know what questions to ask. Like once you start working and seeing, okay, this is how this company treats me. Now let me see like what this company, what their values are. I feel like that's something great to ask and try to meet the team. I feel like if you vibe and mix with the team, that's already something really great.
Yeah, if they hide that from you.
Yeah, if they hide that from like at one of the places, at the place that I'm at right now, the interview, my manager, she was like, I don't recommend you to stay here for more than 2 years. Like stay here 2 years and then dip, if less, that's go for it. She was just like, there's no growth here. Like there is growth, but it'll take you like 5 years. I was like,
Gotcha.
all right, I'll take that with a grain of salt. And now it's up to me, if I want to stay there for the long run or not. But yeah, definitely be yourself, That's all I can say. And
Good.
as much as I want to say don't be nervous, even though you are going to be nervous, which I think everyone is, that's totally fine,
Yeah.
They got it. They got it. Or you can always say like, oh, my connection is lagging. I kind of used that once. Like, hey, my connection's lagging. Here, give me a quick second to look at the questions that I was gonna ask. But yeah.
As a quick Google,
Yeah, as a
what's the
quick
best
Google,
answer for this? What
what
was
does
a
it
question? What was a question you got that might have felt like a little bit out of left field, like you weren't expecting? Did you get that in any of the interviews process?
Honestly, no. I think they were all like, so tell us about yourself. How did you start as a designer? I think one of the places that I was applying to, and I will be honest, I have no knowledge of this. I was applying for I was interviewing for Jack's Pacific Toy Company.
Yep.
And I think they asked me, how knowledgeable are you with Disney princesses? And I was like, I've seen the movies maybe like once or twice, but I'm not, because I think I was gonna be working with the line with Disney line of just the princess and packaging for them. And I was like, yeah, I don't know much about it. Like I think I stopped with probably Moana or something like that. But yeah, I mean, but it's like I said, it's probably my fault for not actually seeing the description and what I was gonna do. I just
Yeah.
saw toy packaging. And I was like, all right, it looks cool. But I think the team that I was gonna be working with was gonna be Princess Team, Disney Princess
Did
Team.
you meet with a girl named Jen by any chance?
Sounds
Mia?
familiar.
Jen Mia?
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
think
not quite
because I
sure.
think she runs packaging there. But yeah, it's like, so I know what you're saying too. Like it might have been there, might have not, but like I think just being truthful was probably the best thing there, saying like you're not that familiar with it. It's like,
No, yeah,
right, like
definitely.
exactly. So sometimes, yeah, there'll be that surprise, which could be there, but
Yeah. But
you
then
never know.
like how you guys always tell us to fake it until you make it type of thing. So if that works out, why not?
I just was telling someone the other day that the first job I took that was in packaging, I was told it was packaging. I was asked if I knew packaging. I had never done packaging, and I completely faked it till I made it. And I sat there late at night every day, learning more about packaging because I had to prove it to them, But I wouldn't recommend it in a world where it's too fast paced now, and it's like it's going to show day one if you don't know what you just said, So I'm not a big fan of stretching truth when it comes to like that, but I know what you're saying too. There's certain things that you can get into that fake it till you make it vibe for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, at the place that I'm at right now, all they use is Photoshop. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm Illustrator. Like I'm always Illustrator, no Photoshop whatsoever.
Yeah.
You saw me doing a crash course on YouTube, like learn Photoshop in 30 days. I was day and night just trying to learn before I started. I was like, all right, let's get this started. And it
There
helped.
you
It
go.
actually did help. So I was like, all right.
Good. Good, man. Good. That's great, dude. But yeah, like any other tips when it came to like when you were going over your portfolio or that, especially if you did, because you went through a lot of interview processes over the last few weeks, and it's kind of like, what did you learn as far as did you see yourself getting better when you were describing your work and basically selling yourself?
Yeah, because at first I would go with like my favorite projects, and I think a great way to engage with them is if they're already seeing, like for instance, I have a website, so I just shared my website, and I asked them, I was like, is there any project that caught your eye you want me to go over? And that's how I started like
Oh, good.
engaging with them instead of me being like, this is my favorite, and I'm gonna talk about it instead of no, like which one do you like, and I'll break it down. And I felt like that really worked because they start talking, you start talking, and it's just that back and forth instead of you just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. Just have them see your website, scroll through it, and then if they just ask them like, or is there any one that caught your eye the most that you want me to go and talk about? And if they say yes, then just do your deep dive in it.
Good. Good. That's great, man. Love hearing that. That's really good. And so, any questions from you guys since he's just kind of gone through this whole thing and feel free to ask away, guys. Yeah, Sam, go for it.
I'm always confused on how formal to be. Do you think that depends on the company?
That does depend on company because some interviewees were like dropping F bombs and they were like the art directors. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, cool. But I would say you should like I was always trying to be formal as possible. Like I would wear a dress up shirt and stuff like that, even though they were wearing like just their jeans and like, well, from what I could see, like the jeans and just like a regular t-shirt. But I would say, yeah, be formal, more formal than anything. And it also depends on the company too.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Cool. No, I'm glad you chimed in, dude. Perfect timing.
Definitely, definitely. And then if you guys need help, I'm all here. I'll drop my email on
Oh,
the
thanks,
chat
dude. I
or
always
anything like that.
appreciate that, dude. That's great. Appreciate it. So, basically, where we had left off, we were talking a little bit about this idea of like, how are you now taking advantage of this opportunity you might have got, and you've just met someone great that there could be an opportunity down the road or whatever. And there's so many great ways to do this. And I think obviously we've been using business cards for years in this way. Obviously, not the most like, it's a little pricey if you can't afford to get them. If you have done them, great. Always have in your back pocket. I have probably 2,000 of them still from the last order. I just never bring them with me. I always forget. And so, or you just don't think an opportunity might be a place that you need to have your business card. And there's two really good things you could do. I don't know if a lot of you know, but there you can go right into your LinkedIn, and if you hit this little barcode right in the search button here, you get a QR code, and you can basically, another person can scan with their phone and get all of your LinkedIn information immediately. So it's a great way to use LinkedIn as that connection piece. And now these digital business cards that you basically put right on the back of your phone. I've had it for 2 weeks, and I got it right there on the back of my phone. You can see it's super thin, and I think I've used it. This is not, I'm not exaggerating. In 2 weeks, I've exchanged with 20 people at different events and different places by them just taking their phone, tapping it to the back. And basically what happens is my entire profile of all of my links, everything I want to share, you can share your Behance page, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, you name it, all of your stuff, your website, and it goes right into their contacts. And then what's great is it pins you back all of their contact information. So there's these great ways you can have that with you all the time. And I think it's a next level. I saw how interested people were in it, and they wanted to try it. And I'm thinking, this is so simple to have this kind of new and unique way. But as well, you could do it right on LinkedIn if you already have it on your phone. So it's really great to have that situation when you hit that touch bar and you hit that, there it is. So they'll get that to scan, and with anybody's camera, they'll be able to work and make a great exchange. So keep that in mind. I think that's just the way you will take advantage of these situations. So if for any reason you get that chance to meet someone, you have it there as well. Once you've done this and you guys have got this great elevator pitch now, and you can turn that into your bio on your resume or in LinkedIn as well. You can see when we break down your career objective on LinkedIn, it's technically the same model we just did when it came to building your elevator pitch. So this can still be that. And what I love about it all being based off of the same information in a way is there's a consistency and a cohesiveness. If someone checks you out in different spots and they see that you've got the same passion and the same view of being a designer in this industry, they're going to really like that. And as well here, the simplest terms you can use in your little bio under your name on LinkedIn. I help blank, do blank by doing blank. There's your Mad Lib formula for exactly what we did. Who you are, skills, qualifications, and what's a goal. What can I do for them down the road? So again, there's so many great places you can use this. The neat thing is on the one on LinkedIn is 120 characters, and a lot of people don't use that. They might just put graphic designer and leave it at that and not realize that they've got 120 characters to fill. You think of this as your billboard. If you had something to say, and now you do because you've got this fun little elevator pitch, let it be what you put in there. And I think it makes a more lasting impression. They want to know what you're going to do. What is the benefit of hiring you, meeting you, talking to you? And that's all you need to do there as well. Okay. So the last part here is that sell. And again, just kind of like what Adrian had said, I think you get better and better with this as you do it. What you're going to learn from portfolio review and from high res is you're going to get sick of your work because you're going to be talking about it so much, but you're getting better at it every time. So when you've just created something and it's brand new, you might not have the words down or the rehearsed version of it ready to go because it's brand new. But as you go and present this to people over and over again, your sell is going to get not only better but more authentic and more real because it's you, and you know, you created this. And I always say there's no one better to talk about your work than the actual person who designed it. So why not keep trying this? And I think both events coming up are such great examples of where you can try this out and do it. My tips, number one, is you've got to tell a story with it. You've got to be a storyteller. You can't just drop bombs and knowledge and words and sentences without some kind of an overarching thing. And what we're going to do in the weeks ahead is we're going to be going through case studies, and we're going to be going through some of mine, some of yours, and we're going to figure out how to tell the story the best way possible. Okay. And you want to be considerate of time. You want to be considerate of interest. You can read the body language of the people that you are interviewing with. You got to read them, and you got to know how to tell that story in just the right amount of time to keep them interested and get them kind of engaged in what you're doing. One thing I always love to do too is there's a great theory of this, like leaving someone with 3 things to remember, 3 strengths, 3 describing words of you and you as a creative, you as someone in this industry. And I think these are 3 things that we can all have our own words that work for this, and you drop them in. If you've got them memorized, they can be those little things, those little anchors that you drop into discussions that will help you understand this is who I am, this is how I'll be remembered. Okay. So to me, I love doing this as well. I use words like, the first thing I use is drive, the drive I have to continue moving forward to find the best solution. And if I just keep that word in mind, it will make me understand the things I want to say that are all revolving around drive, right? The next thing I always use is partnership. I never want someone to think that I'm an employee or a client or a vendor. I want to be known as a partnership with them. So if that's my second word, I know exactly where to drop that in with things like that. And third is like just originality. I think we're seeing in this world, there's so much of a Me Too copycat design thing. Everything's following trends rather than leading. And if I can instill that in the people I'm talking to, that I like originality and I like uniqueness to a brand, that to me is, I can talk for an hour on that just by remembering that one word. And last but not least is just showing your success. Like if you've done something and it has moved the needle, it has done something great, it is making an impression, it is making someone's life convenient, it is adding to if it worked for a nonprofit, if it's done something wonderful for them, those are all the successes. And when you end with that at the end of this story and you sprinkle in these 3 words, what you get is something so much more memorable than the person that went in there with no structure and no strategy to their discussion or their interview with the person that they're talking to. So that's really it. That's everything I want to kind of go through. And we've got time to kind of spend some time talking about examples or any questions you guys have. We've still got a little bit of time to do that. So feel free, if there's anything you guys have a question on or a comment, shoot, go for it. Because I'm tired of talking. Anybody got anything? Matthew.
I guess just from attending guest speakers and stuff like that, and from some of my friends, how do you prepare for like an interview with a recruiter versus the second round, which is going to be probably creative director or something of that nature? Because I know you have to do different approaches for both of them.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in my class last night with some of the alumni that were there, and they brought up a good thing, that it's vocabulary is number one. When you're talking to recruiter or HR or just call them a non-creative in the zone of and the steps of you getting to there, it's really the vocabulary you're using. To an HR person and to a recruitment firm, it's all about benefits, things you've done, your soft skills, all of those things. Yes, you can mention the key things that were in the ad that you need to know as a creative, because that's all they're looking for. He or she might not know terms of Illustrator, terms of XD, whatever it is, right? But is if it's matching what's in the job posting, that person's going to know, oh, Matthew's a great fit. He mentioned a few of those keywords. But I would talk more about you and what I can expect from you. You know, your promptness, your reliability, your eagerness to learn more, and and then you can ask the questions of, do you promote within? Is there ways of, will I grow here? Can I meet with people beforehand? So it's more about the company, right? Then when you got to that creative director, oh, you can, that's where you show it all. You tell everything about what you know, terminology. So your vocabulary changes considerably with that.
Okay, that's interesting. And I guess my follow-up question to that is, for jobs, I guess I've applied to them in the past, but I did not get an interview for some of them, the bigger ones. Is that because I'm probably using vocabulary that is more design based when I'm probably reaching like people who are recruiters or HR people, and then they probably don't know what I'm talking about, maybe?
That's hard to decide because every job is totally different. You can go to a big job and a big company, and your resume could go straight to the person who's going to hire you. You can go to the smallest company and it's going to go to the two people in HR before, right? So there's no way of kind of understanding it, and every company is so different. If anything, it might be because they were a big company. If you mentioned that, so like,
Yeah.
when someone was talking the other night and talking about I always ask a student or an alumni when they have gotten a job to ask, maybe weeks into it, like, you know, what made me stand out, if you don't mind me asking. And what they're finding out too is that, like, you know, upwards of 800 people might be applying for a job. And so how do you could have just slipped through the cracks because of maybe some keywords in your resume that didn't align with what they were really looking for. And it was just the quantity of the response. I mean, how are they supposed to do that, right? It's like 800 people. Someone had mentioned yesterday that he has applied for a job. They wrote back and said, you're in the zone, right? Before an interview, he had to do a full branding project and a essay in 2 days to be considered to come in and do the interview. And I was like, okay, so I get it. These companies are trying to funnel it down to the most interested, the most talented, and the best match, because it's just too much for them to go through 800 at that point, I think. So they're narrowing it down, you know, and but again, the next place you go to, it might be much smaller and they might invite you in the next day, and something can happen within a week. So it's all different. It's all different. You just got to keep trying for that until all of the planets align and it's the perfect one for you and it's the perfect one for them. Cool. Anybody else got any questions? Did I miss anything, Joe?
No, I think it's all good. I mean, it's
so
like,
hard to just define these things.
The thing is, like, that's just your answer, Matt, but it's different for everyone. It's like, it's every company's different, every scenario is different. The thing, I think all you need to do is just do it, and then, you know, interview, submit, and then you learn as you go along. And so you may bomb one interview, but then learn from that, and then know that the next interview you're going to do better from that, right?
Yeah.
And you may apply for a job and not get it, and realize hopefully you'll get some sort of feedback as to why not. And then, so it's all just like leveling up. So you just got to put yourself out there and do it, and then you get better at it as you go along.
Yep. And the nerves go away little by little.
And that's why portfolio review and the ridiculous part is, that's why portfolio review and high res exist, is because then you do that at that instance.
Yeah.
And then your first interview outside of CSUN, you already know what it's like. You're doing a simulated version of it prior to graduating. And that's the key takeaway from these events that we're trying to put together.
Yeah, your mind's saying, you've chalked it up to like, oh, I had 10 interviews today at portfolio review. I've had 16 elevator pitches at high res. Your mind's just telling you, check,
Yeah.
right? You'll get better. That's the thing. And it's all about practice makes perfect. It really does.
And the feedback you get from them it reinforces your presentation. So as the day goes along, you'll notice that the way you present and how you talk about yourself is going to get better because people are talking about you and saying things about your work that you probably never realized. And then you could internalize that and use it to explain your work now. So you're kind of borrowing other people's criticism or other compliments and then reinforcing your presentation through that.
Very true. Yeah. Any other questions? Hopefully you're all more confident. Cool. We'll put this up on the YouTube page as soon as I can. So, but yeah, this will be great to share, and we'll add it to our resources page with all the stuff there for. So make sure you're checking that out. If you haven't seen some of the videos that we've done in the past few years, leading up towards portfolio review and the end of the semester, it's on the CSUN Saga page on YouTube. And you'll see a bunch of cool stuff there as well that we've done in the past. But if no more questions, I think we're good to go, guys.
Wait, I have one more thing to drop.
Yeah, go for it.
So I want to feed you guys. So come to school on the 7th. All right. I've got a big budget to pay for some food. So don't stay in your homes. Do portfolio review out here in campus.
Yes.
We'll have a bunch of rooms open so you can have private areas to speak. And then just throughout the day, hang out with each other, and I'll look at your portfolio and between the breaks, and let's have some fun on campus. So, and then the other thing is, I just sent Nick this. Let's print some Saga shirts. So let's do. If we've got a design for it, let me know, and then hopefully they'll be ready by then. So
yeah,
let's get some Saga swag going.
Yeah, if you want, stay on for a sec after we can talk all about that, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got your emails as well.
I want to get some Saga gear for all of you this semester.
That'd
and future semesters. Let's buy enough shirts to last for a year and a half.
If it's not that clear to you guys, we can spend some freaking money. Let's go.
Yes. We have some money, guys. It's all this state surplus I'm trying to spend.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, like Joe said, come to campus on that day, because not only will a bunch of us be there, all the alumni that want to come and kind of like the ones that are even going to be portfolio reviewers, but then we have a ton of them that are, maybe 2 to 3 years out that just want to come and be there and help and be part of the day. And if you don't have a scheduled appointment at a certain time, you can find one of us, you can find one of them, and have a great conversation and one-on-one, and we'll have all those rooms open. And like Joe said, we'll have, hey, dude, and Portos is like so close now.
That's what I'm definitely buying. I'm filling up the paperwork right now. I already said Portos. So
that was because Joe would have to get it on the way over from Burbank all the time. So now it's right there in Northridge. That's perfect. But that would be great. And maybe, let's brainstorm a little bit and figure out what else we can do. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yes, Mario, question.
So actually, Shally wanted me to announce. Wait, hold on. Because she's having also some guest speakers in her classes. So if you guys want to join, so on
perfect,
April 21st, she will have Xavier on Thursday between 2 and 3. And then on the 28th, also Thursday, 2 to 3, and then on May 4th, 2 to 3 as well.
Excellent.
But I'll post this on Slack as well.
Perfect. All right, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next. So next meeting will be Wednesday on campus from 5 to 6. And we will pick one of the topics from our 4, getting everybody ready for portfolio review. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, Joe, stick around. We'll chat.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right, give me a sec. I'll be right back.
No worries.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See ya soon.
Yeah.
Joe, work is damn crazy.
Why? It's being recorded. You might want to hold off on saying something public.
Oh. I saw that. Oh boy.
I'm always conscious of that now.
You never know.
All right. Let me get some numbers and see where we're at with reviewers and students here.
Nick, you're still recording.
Oh, thank you, man.
I had a question.